All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of How to Do Drugs. I am your host, Aaliyah Janine. And today I have a very fun guest. You may have heard of him, Doug Stanhope. Hello, sir. How are
They
you?
probably have not heard of me, but that's okay.
Never heard of you. No one's ever heard of you. My Uber driver, I was telling him I was very excited about having you on. And he's like, I don't think I heard of him. And I'm like, I wouldn't expect that from you, to be honest. But I mean, I definitely have heard of you,
We uh
obviously.
we drunk dialed a fan. We are sitting out in the fun house and I get an email and hey, here's my number if you ever want to. So I drunk dialed him. He's like,
Mhm.
holy shit, no one's ever gonna believe this. I go, yeah, no one's ever gonna. You're gonna tell people, guess who called me, and then you're gonna have to say, no, he's a comedian. No, so he was actually in like Home Depot or a
Mhm.
Lowe's or something. I go, I made him some kind of minimal wager. I go, I bet you cannot find one person. He was like in Alabama or Arkansas. I go, if you can find one person in that entire store who knows who I am. So I had him walking up to every fucking employee or stranger. Do you know who Doug Stanhope is? Yeah, I won the bet. Nobody knew me.
Well, I know you. My father used to listen to you. You're not that much older than me, but he's the one who introduced me to your comedy as he did to many comedians and stuff. So yeah, so I've been a fan for a while, but I've always like I'm a fan to a lot of things where it's like, oh, I like his work, but I don't really know anything about, you know what I mean? Like I have all of Tori Amos's CD. I don't know a single fucking thing about the woman besides that she has red hair and I like her music. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
yeah, I don't like the last time I was a super
I
fan
wish
of
there was a cornflake.
the last time I was a super fan of somebody was Jonathan Brandis and he committed suicide. So I was like, okay, maybe that's not for me. When I
Wait, he's
was
a radio guy, right?
no, he was like a young actor. He did a movie called Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield. And he did another movie with Chuck Norris. So he was just like this young kid actor. Like I was younger. I want to say like middle school, like maybe like 12, 13 or something like that. Little girling out. He had like long hair. I don't know. I've always had a thing for dudes with like long hair. John Bon Jovi when I was younger. Now though, I can't do it. It's too weird. Like I had to do flip his hair over, and I'm like, no, it's so strange.
Yeah,
Um,
Hedberg is the only guy I could still tolerate with long hair.
yeah, it's definitely it's like has to go with a personality and just like overall style. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
dudes have long hair and like put it up in buns, and I'm like, no, like you can't have longer hair than me. Like that's a rule. That's a rule. And I hate, yeah, no, it's disgusting. So this podcast is about drugs. I mean, I have to think what's his name? A chemo baby 1976 on Twitter, because he's the one who tweeted you. And I was like, oh fuck, yeah, I'd love to have Doug on. I think he's definitely done more drugs than I have. I guess that's only because you're older. That's why you had a little bit more time to do more than me, I think. But yeah, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm the cliche of everything but heroin, basically. And yeah, over pandemic, I thought I think I could pull off heroin, like trying it.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, what else is going on?
I think that my addictions that I have are ingrained enough that nothing's going to usurp them.
Yeah.
So I think at this point I'm old enough. I've read every fucking heroin book, every rock and roll biography.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I would puke, and I would hate puking enough. I love mushrooms, but I'm so terrified to do them for the puke aspect.
Oh, really? I've never puked on mushrooms. I know a couple people have, but normally not that many. I'm not like I think maybe like 1 out of 20 of my friends maybe have puked on mushrooms. But yeah, it's not if you do like little bits at a time, maybe try it that way. I think
Yeah, but yeah, heroin's still hip
you're
hop.
like heroin.
Yeah,
I know. I was talking to one of my girlfriends about that because I had a surgery this past fall, and I was like, dude, I want to try heroin. And like she's like, technically you had some of the best drugs. And like like doctors gave it to, but I'm like, yeah, but I was knocked the fuck out, so it doesn't count. Like I want to experience the heroin
Yes.
and not just be knocked out. Yeah, no, I definitely have that thing where I'm like, if I know I'm gonna go, the world is gonna end, I am definitely trying fucking heroin without a doubt.
Yeah, it's not addictive because it sucks.
Exactly.
It's gonna be pretty fucking great.
It's gonna be
Uh,
pretty fucking amazing. Yeah.
but that's what evidently like all the opioid people,
Hmm.
they're fucking crushing up oxys and
Yeah.
snorting them. Then they go to heroin because it's easier to find and cheaper. Uh,
And it's
and they're
yeah.
fucking ruining opioids. Like I'm at an age where like I use as prescribed. Like
Hmm.
Xanax is the best thing in my life, but I use it as prescribed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's prescribed for flight anxiety, but sometimes I have flight anxiety just sitting here on the ground in my living room.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't abuse it. And
Hmm.
everyone who's fucking abusing opioids, like when I get cancer in a few minutes, yeah, they're gonna mete out my fucking pain pills
Hmm.
because we can't because the opioid crisis because some fucking cocksuckers in Tennessee are
Yeah.
fucking grinding this shit up in a bathroom and snorting it off a toilet tank. And then I'm going to be in fucking agony with cancer because those assholes. There's already drugs out there you can snort. Why are you snorting the ones that?
Right, the
Yeah, do the
prescription
fucking
ones.
heroin. Yeah.
Well, I guess a lot of people are dying because people are because of fentanyl. I guess a lot of they're mixing fentanyl with a lot of heroin. I guess for some reason that's easier to get and stuff like that. When I had my surgery, they gave me, yeah, there was a very limited amount. I'm not really big into oxys. Like I've never like even
What
just
was your
hit.
surgery? Have you already
Oh,
talked about
oh,
this a lot on your podcast?
no, a little bit, not really. I had uterine cancer, so they had to like remove part of my box.
I was just gonna say, did they cut your cunt out? Because that's
Yeah.
usually
No, no, the cun's still there. Although I am
yeah,
afraid to
yeah.
have sex. I'm afraid it's gonna like fall out right now, but I'll get over that fear, I'm sure.
Yeah. When I get a vasectomy, I had that same fear.
Yeah.
Like the first time I blew a load, I didn't know if fucking chili's gonna come out or I don't know.
But you're fine now. Yeah, I think more men should definitely get vasectomies. Yeah, I am like the happiest. Like it was honestly like one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. I don't have to worry about fucking ever getting pregnant, and that is so cool because I never wanted kids. So I'm like, yes, cream pies all day. No, but
Yes.
but yeah, they gave me a very limited amount, which is fine because I like the Advil or like the ibuprofen 600 or 800 milligrams because those always actually got rid of the pain. I've never really been like a pill person in general. Like I have to take Adderall because I have ADHD. But that actually like helps. And like most of the pills that I do take, I let like you, I take them because they're prescribed and I take them when I need them, not like, yeah, I don't overuse pills. Like if we're talking about acid, that may be another story.
Yeah, I have acid on my to-do list right there.
Yeah. Have you never done acid?
No, but I'm so afraid to do. Yeah, see, I do. Sorry,
Yeah.
actually looking at my to-do list, going, yeah, you have
Yeah,
acid on
acid.
there. Like because I used to be a good tripper, and as
Mhm.
time wears on and you have more and more emotional baggage that you've saddled in some back synapse storage unit in your
Mm.
brain,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I don't know if I want all that shit to fucking come rushing out right now.
No, that makes sense. Acid was like one of the first drugs that I ever did, and it's like this past summer I definitely started doing it more. Like I would do shrooms and stuff like that. Like I like to microdose, and that's great because I'm also like I get really sick when I drink now. Like I love drinking. I'm from Wisconsin, so like I'm a binge drinker on top of it. So it's like when I do drink, it's like it's an excessive amount for no fucking reason. That's just how my brain works. So I'm
Yep.
trying to like cut down on the alcohol. So like one little microdose of mushroom makes me feel like I had like a couple of drinks. Like I'm not like seeing anything, it's just a
Yeah.
nice, warm,
Yeah.
fuzzy
No, I've
feeling.
done that a couple times where
Yeah.
all right, I'm not going deep diving here. We're just
Yeah.
permagrin and
Yeah,
that's
just
it.
hanging out.
Yeah.
And then I
And
get the
I've been doing
munchies too
edibles
sometimes.
too. I like, especially since pandemic, this,
Hmm.
for a year, I've been more into the edibles. Never like smoking pot because of the cotton mouth and yeah. It ruins the taste of cigarettes.
Oh, see, I like a good Newport after smoking like a joint or a bowl. That's like my favorite thing. It like adds to it for some reason for
Yeah,
me.
the yuck mouth was fucking intolerable for me.
Yeah.
And I always was like weirdly paranoid, which I don't get with edibles.
Yeah, well, because it's more of like a body high than like the mental kind of aspect. It also depends on like, the strand of weeds that you're smoking too, because some are definitely more like cognitive where you're like,
I think that's bullshit. I know I'm new to the game, but
Mhm.
my friends that are all wicked into weed. Oh no, you the sativa, that's for sleeping or whatever. Like no, like there's no constant with edibles. There's nothing
Yeah.
where it's the same way that people say, "Oh, when I drink tequila, I want to fight." No, you drink tequila because that's you know ingrained in you that that's what you drink when you're angry. Anyway,
Hmm.
you don't
Yeah, you're
fucking
just
get
using that as
fired
an
from
excuse.
you don't get fired from your job and say, "I'd like a Pinot Noir because I had a tough day." No,
You want a fucking tequila. That's hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think alcohol affects you much differently than weed.
No, a little bit. I mean, I definitely because I learned how to drive drunk, like, and just fucked up in general. Like that's how I learned how to drive. So I definitely feel now that I couldn't drive drunk, but I definitely drive stoned. Like I could drive on mushrooms, I could drive on
No, no,
acid.
I
Oh,
meant the different types of alcohol.
oh,
I don't think they really affect you as much as people think. And
Oh, no, 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 not at
I
all.
assume it's
Tequila's
the
actually
same with
one of the
weed.
yeah, tequila's actually one of the cleanest alcohols that you could drink. Like it's one of the easiest for your body to like digest and stuff like that. And it's supposed to actually make you like the happiest, but everyone's like tequila makes me happy whenever I drink it. Like, but I mean all alcohol kind of makes me happy when I
Yeah,
drink
no,
it.
it's
So yeah.
fucking alcohol.
It's alcohol.
Like cancer. All right. If you had uterine cancer, like I mean, I talked about this with breast cancer awareness
Hmm.
month. Why wouldn't you just be cancer awareness? Like if you cured breast cancer, it's probably the same fucking shit as it's in your
As
uterus.
the other, yeah, it's just in a different fucking place in your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really understood that concept either. Is like, are there like obviously there are like different types of tumors and stuff like that, but if it's all just cancer, just
Yeah.
cancer.
Like alcohol is all like alcohol.
Yeah. So you started comedy like in your 20s. Were you using before your 20s? Like did you drink a lot and stuff before you started comedy?
My first drug, I mean, other than smoking weed as a
Mhm.
teenager, and I was even bad at it then. I remember having Cook's Pond, smoking part of a joint, and then just laying down and having the bed spins and vomiting. Yeah, it
Oh
was never good at
no.
that. Uh, but yeah, the first time was I was 18. I had moved from Massachusetts to Hollywood, and uh, someone talked me into doing mushrooms, and they're like, "Oh, it's all natural," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that sounds all right then." And we dressed up their dog in my suit. I had one suit I brought with me when I moved out there, and we walked up and down Hollywood Boulevard, tripping our balls off, looking at all the fucking freaks. And I was completely like Hollywood Boulevard alone, sober was a freak show to me.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my first time on mushrooms, and I fucking had the best time of my life. I still remember specific things from 1985
Right
because
from that, yeah, because of the mushrooms. Yeah, I used to live on Cherokee, on the corner of Cherokee and Yucca, right
all right.
there on Hollywood
When
Boulevard.
I moved there for real as a comedian, I was at on Curson between Santa Monica and Fountain.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I lived there.
I could have walked to your house.
Right. I only lived there for a couple months and then I moved to North Hollywood. I got like a little house or whatever. Hollywood was a little much for me. Although I did make really good friends, became really good friends with a homeless guy. His dog and my dogs like got along and like we would smoke and stuff like that. And he would tell me like stories about meth, him being on meth.
Oh, did you ever do a meth phase?
Yeah, I did in my early teens, 20s. I was a raver in Chicago and stuff like that. Oh yeah, no, meth, these glass. I tried smoking it
I never did
before.
that.
The smoking thing was definitely because like I tried crack like once or twice. Those were always kind of like on accident where I thought it was weed because it was like those old school metal bowls that had like the little caps on it or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Is
so
that a syringe in your hand?
no, oh no, it's a pen. It's a pen. It's my
Okay.
pen. No, you have to shoot it out here.
God, you've been waving that around, and I'm like,
No.
that is syringe.
Sorry.
Like it's how to do drugs. I don't know if it's a prop.
No, oh god, no, no, I'm definitely no props. I mean, I do have weed and whatever, but yeah, there's no need. Although that would be hilarious. Um, oh shit, what was I talking
Oh,
about?
meth, meth.
Oh, yeah.
When
I
I
think
when I did it was called Crystal.
mm,
Want to do some Crystal?
yeah.
Late
Crystal.
80s.
Yeah, they would also call it like glass. That was actually the first time that I ever really had like a hallucination because like I said, a bunch of acid and stuff like that, but that never made me like see things come out. And so I was on like a 3-day meth binge, me and my
Just gonna
girlfriend.
say,
3 days, yeah, because that's when the brain starts doing all that fun stuff. Just and I'm driving, and all of a sudden I see just giants, and they're all men, and they're wearing like the old school black and white striped outfits or like prison uniforms, and they're
yeah,
rolling a ball towards me, and I just pull over, and I'm like, I don't think I should drive anymore. I'm like, I think you're gonna have to take over now. And then as she was driving, I saw another like gigantic Energizer bunny, and I'm like, I think I should go to bed. I think now is the time. Yeah, so that's the first time that I've ever saw anything like that, and it wasn't on even like when I like done DMT, like it was never anything to that extent that I saw when I was fucking 3 days up on meth.
yeah. I've heard a lot of those stories from meth heads too.
Yeah.
I remember a couple that were really into it. This is back when I lived in Vegas before I started comedy. Just before
Vegas is big with meth too.
it was, yeah. This was '89 uh, or early '90, and they were talking about how they had like the same hallucinations of fucking troll people talking to them sitting on the top of the fence, but they were both seeing it. Uh,
Like a
after
shared
like 6
hallucination.
days. Yeah, just 6 days up on meth.
Yeah, that was definitely a learning experience with that particular drug because I've always liked cocaine, and I definitely that is one of the ones that I do occasionally because I do like it so much. But
Well,
yeah, I never stayed up for fucking 3 days when I did cocaine. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's a very nice like do a couple bumps at the bar and then go home and go to sleep as long as it's decent cocaine. That's
yeah.
really
You stay up like 4 or 5 drinks longer than you should have been drinking.
yeah. Oh yeah, no, it gives you that extra boost where you can drink a little bit more, sobers you
Yeah,
up a little bit.
yeah. No, I was always just like Xanax, use
Hmm.
as prescribed. I was the guy that, oh, if I'm doing 2 shows and I'm pretty drunk for the late show and you have a bump, yeah, I'll do a bump, and then I
Yeah.
talk over my thoughts on the set, but at least I'm talking rather than slurring.
Yeah. I tried doing a couple of sets on coke. It was one night. It was like a really late night set in like this, obviously New York little theater or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not for me. That's not the way that I
Actually,
want it to be.
cocaine is one of the few drugs that has stage benefits. Like if you know
Hmm.
yourself and you
Yeah.
know how to measure it versus how much you drank,
Yeah.
it can be beneficial, or it can.
Oh no, I could
Oh,
definitely see
wait.
that. Yeah.
The movie Flight
The
with
movie.
Denzel Washington.
Oh yeah, where he's like the alcoholic and it's like the alcohol, like what is it? The drunken recall or whatever kind of
Yeah,
thing.
he was like this. Who's the guy? Sully, like
Yeah.
a hero pilot, but they didn't know he was really fucked up.
Like
And then he has
wasted.
to go to fucking testify in front of Congress, and it gets really shit faced. And then John Goodman shows up with the
Hmm.
coke, and that's the.
Yes,
It
yes.
was the best ending to any movie. I wouldn't recommend the movie, but watch the beginning, fast forward through the middle, and who gives a fuck about your life and your relationships, and get to the end because it's such a perfect portrayal of cocaine versus alcohol. Because
Hmm.
he ends up going in front of Congress and just telling the absolute truth, which
Hmm.
if any of you have ever done cocaine, the biggest downfall is you start saying a lot of truths that you should have kept to your fucking self.
It does have that effect on, yeah, I've definitely told strangers some very deep things my therapist doesn't even know. You know? Be like, well, Gene that I met at the bar 3 weeks ago knows about this. So I guess it's your turn now, doctor.
Yeah. Well, you never fucked your therapist
No,
after
thank
telling them
God.
some gruesome truth like you do strangers.
Yeah, I've definitely done a lot of weird things on cocaine. It's always been, I don't know. The first time I ever did it was at a rave. I think I was like 19. And then yeah, the guy that I was dating, like I used to write him checks because that's when I had a checkbook and I would write him checks for cocaine if I didn't have cash on me. And I thought that was the meaning of white privilege for a really long time.
It's like
Um,
it's like when Jerry Springer got busted for paying for hookers with personal checks, and you're like, where do you find a hooker that takes a
a
personal
personal
check?
check. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, if it's a regular client, I mean, it's Jerry Springer. He's a famous guy. Of course, his check isn't going to bounce. You know what I mean? Like, there would be a lot of drama if his check bounced. I just want to know what he was like putting in the notes, though, like what it was
Memo.
for. The little note.
Oh, in his own ledger.
Mhm. Therapy would be appropriate.
Yeah.
um, so you said like, so do you think that you use drugs and like alcohol now like just to maintain, or do you still use it to like escape from something, do you think?
Well, I mean, I drink every day, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, no,
It's
unless I'm specifically not drinking for a reason.
mhm.
Yeah, no, I drink every day. So I don't. After 40 years, I don't know what I'm escaping from,
Yeah. The
or
stuff that
what
you don't want to take acid for, you're afraid is gonna come
exactly.
back
Yeah,
up.
like yeah, I think sobriety would be the same as acid right now. Like if I stayed sober for a couple weeks, I'd be going, oh fuck, oh oh geez, oh give me a drink.
Yeah. Do you so you say that you do take breaks from drinking? Like are there just some days that you don't feel like drinking?
No, no.
No.
Well, right now I probably wouldn't have drank if I weren't doing this podcast for another
Mhm.
couple hours. I
Yeah.
started a little bit early,
Ugh.
but
Yeah, like my grandfather was like that. Like he had a time every day that he drank about like a six pack a day. I want to say, you know, at night or whatever, which is a decent amount, just sitting on his chair, watching Wheel of Fortune, drinking beer.
yeah, if I only have six drinks, I wake up considering it a night. I didn't really drink last night. I only had six.
Okay. Well, what is your like what do you normally drink? Do you drink the same thing consistently or do you change it
No,
up?
I change it up. But my usual is vodka, soda, splash of grapefruit.
Okay.
Uh,
A
but
little
right
bit
now
of
I'm
vitamins
drinking
in
White
there.
Russians that are. I usually close on a White Russian because they're fucking too delicious. I started with White Russians today because I'm leaving town and I have a gallon of milk that's gonna fucking
Go
rot.
bad, so you're like, you might
Yes.
as well have some white.
That's a fucking weird thing about COVID is I've become this like half hoarder, half uh like as I've aged, I've
Mhm,
become more aware of waste.
mhm.
But since COVID, like I have a stack of fucking paper towels. I'm on a glass table and I wipe it down and I'm like, no, they'll dry out. I'll wipe it down with the same fucking thing tomorrow. Uh,
Oh, yeah, like, you're definitely like, slightly more conscientious of, like of being wasteful, of, like, the things you use and, like, reuse, like,
yeah,
I've noticed that, like, I started, like, reusing, like, paper towels, like, if I use one for lunch and I barely use it, like, I'll use that one for dinner and
yeah.
stuff like that, and it's not necessarily like I'm trying like, I've always, like, wanted to help out the environment, but I think we're fucked on that front, so now it's just, like, trying to save money for myself, it's just for purely selfish
Yeah,
reasons.
I'm sure it started with the fucking toilet paper
Yeah.
hoarding at the beginning. All
Well,
right.
I got a bidet over the quarantine because I just bought a bunch of things over quarantine, and ever since I got that thing, I barely use like you don't need as much toilet paper, and it's kind of fun. Like it's like my butt is very clean, and I'm just like this is refreshing. Like it actually.
I have never used one.
A lot of and you're not the only there's a lot of guys who are terrified of bidets because, like, it is a stream of water that shoots into your butthole. Not into it, but it's like it feels like it's something's penetrating, and a lot of guys are afraid of that.
Oh, not me.
Like,
If it was
absolutely.
just gonna fuck me in the ass, go to it. But I don't like when you have a fucking man ass, a
Mhm,
fucking hairy man ass crack. I don't think the water's gonna do the job. And then if you have a toilet paper back to that,
mhm.
it's gonna sop the toilet paper, and like that's how I imagine it. It's like you're
It's
just gonna
not it's not as bad. No, that doesn't and
yeah,
it's
but I
not
assume you don't have a fucking hairy ass crack.
I don't re no, I shave that. I still shave that. I don't know why, I still do.
Yeah,
It's
it makes a huge difference, especially when you have alcoholic dumps. I'm not taking these fucking fiber rich fucking no wipers.
No.
I'm splattering bowls, and I
I
I
get
think I
that.
would need a bidet that was like a lawn sprinkler with like eight heads.
It just, like, rotates around.
Yeah, children are jumping through it while it washes my ass.
I think Tushy follows me for some reason on Twitter. We could see what they could do. The bidet, I don't know. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't buy a Tushy bidet, sorry." But they follow me on Twitter.
Oh, a company that makes bidets?
Mhm, yeah, they're called Tushy. They're the ones who make all the, like, really funny, um, commercials with, like, the unicorn taking a dump and stuff like that. Have you ever
I've
seen
never seen
any
that.
of those? Or no, that's Squatty Potty. That's the Squatty Potty. What yeah, no, the internet is they have no chill, whatsoever. That is one thing, speaking since we're talking about poop, alcohol poops are always really bad, but so are, like, acid dumps, like, the next day, like, acid farts, like, you've done acid before, you're just not doing it now, but I've always noticed, like, acid farts and acid shits are, like it's almost like toxic waste coming out of your body because it's not necessarily solid, but it's also not necessarily liquid. Does that make sense? Where it's like
Uh,
this
oh, oh, the
weird
soft serve, those are the worst poops.
yeah, because
Yeah,
the
that's
smell, every time I do
you
acid,
need a
I'm like,
fucking squeegee instead of toilet paper.
yeah, it is unpleasant. That's
But no, the hallucinogen dumps are the ones that well, actually with Coke too,
mhm.
but they come on right away. Like, I
Yeah,
just did.
sometimes some people will poop instead of throw up. Like my one girlfriend, especially with ecstasy, she always had to take a
Yeah,
shit after she took a pill, and then she'd start rolling or
yeah.
whatever. I mean, like I never had that where I needed to like either throw up. Like I've definitely like when I used to dance, we used to get paid to drink, so I would like do shots, go in the bathroom, throw up, go do more shots, so I wouldn't get alcohol poisoning kind of thing. But I've never had to throw up on like ecstasy or mushrooms or anything
Oh,
like that. I
geez.
mean, knock on wood.
I remember we used to fuck with the Montreal Comedy Festival.
Mhm.
Uh, I guess I guess I was 2005 was the last time I did it, and then anyway, they gave me some shitty offer to come back. Like they just kept like jacking up the ticket prices, but paying the
Mhm.
comics less and less. And they
Yeah.
gave me some like embarrassingly like insulting offer to do a fucking one man show run or
Yeah.
and I
Especially
like
for something that big, like, it's a huge fucking
well
festival.
they no it's not. I mean
Yeah.
it's a huge festival, but the glory days of getting a $500,000 deal that
Mhm.
doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So but they still think they're fucking that great. So we went up and it's the Just for Laughs festival,
Mhm.
and so we went up and did Just for Spite, where I go, I could make that same amount playing some fucking punk rock fucking four wall gig at a
Mhm.
shitty bar. I could make more in two shows than what you're offering me for a 10-day run, and
Yeah.
and we did that. And we called it the Just for
The
Spite
fight.
Festival. And then we went up the next year and we did it again, but we didn't even do a show. My
Mhm.
manager found a car wash across from the whatever the hotel where everyone stays and
Mhm.
parties, all the comics are. We
Mhm.
rented a car wash for the night, threw our own party with fucking free booze. We could all the fucking comics leaving their fucking party to come to our party, and I did ecstasy. And I remember talking to some fucking poor kid, and I'm fucking gacked, and I'm pumped, and I'm inspired. And in the middle of it, I'm like, it's not even a nauseous vomit. It's like it's almost like
something like stuck in your throat kind of
yeah,
thing.
it's like someone's fingering my uvula. And I'm talking, and I went, yeah, projectile vomited while I'm in the middle, and I would not fucking kill my sentence. I just wiped off my lip and went right back. Don't worry about that. Anyway, what was I saying? Cut to end of the party. Fucking sun's coming up at 6 a.m. The car wash is about to like go back into business, and I'm talking to this same kid who's one of the last people there.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, and whoa! Like, why is it every time I talk to you, I vomit?
That poor kid probably thinks it's him.
It's a whole different level of vomiting.
Yeah, I've
Never,
definitely.
it's not a good kind, but
It's not a good, it's definitely where your body is like rejecting
yeah.
something like that. It's like we need to get the fuck out. Yeah, I definitely when I drink too much alcohol, especially now that I'm older, like I will like I throw up so much more than when I did when I was young. When I was younger, like in my 20s and almost up even up to my 30s, like I'd be able to finish a bottle of vodka a night and be fine, like drive home. I'm just from Wisconsin. That's just how we're raised. It's like when
Where?
Milwaukee, in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Do you
And
know the
so
password for the safe house?
oh God. Oh, I haven't been in the safe house for a while. Wasn't it just password for a while? I
I
remember.
don't. I still don't remember. I've been there like 3 times, and I always loved the gimmick of it, but
Yeah.
it was always empty. No one else liked the gimmick.
No, well, I mean, there'd be like some tourists. I had a friend, like I have a lot of bartender friends, so we had a friend that bartended there, so we would like hang out there like occasionally. But the drinks were always so expensive, so we would just, I mean, and for
And
Wisconsin,
it wasn't really your friend.
yeah. Yeah. Well, they had like because they had cameras and stuff everywhere, and it was just like, whoa. So we just went to the dive bar, where we always got free drinks, basically.
Oh,
Which was
Raider, look up the safe house in Milwaukee. It's a fucking it's really cool. It's like beyond speakeasy. It's
yeah, they have like the secret rooms and they have like little passageways, and I guess
yeah,
it was
the
on.
door is like this old-fashioned door, and it
Mhm.
says like something import export company, and you're like, this is a closed business.
Yeah, and you
And
have
you
to
go
like
in.
go into the alley to actually get into it as well. Like you can see it from I forgot what street that is, but yeah, to get into the front door it's actually through the alley or whatever. They make it fun that way.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off. You were saying
No,
you're a
it's
puker.
fine. The puker. But yeah, when I moved to Florida, I had a really bad experience. I went to some like baseball game because they have all the spring training camps and stuff like that. And I was out with my friend and we started, I want to say at like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, that's a normal pre-gaming kind of thing. And I was drinking vodka sodas. And I drank a lot of vodka sodas. And then it would just, and in that Florida heat all night, I ended up projectile vomiting all over a Babies R Us parking lot. Like I had a convertible, a Sebring Chrysler Sebring convertible, and I had to sleep in the parking lot until like I woke up around like 8 when people like started, opening stores and stuff like that. And I ended up throwing up again. I'm like, oh, I'm still not ready to drive. I didn't leave until like 10 o'clock in the morning. And just with that heat, and I was sick for like 2 weeks. Like I definitely gave myself alcohol poisoning. And ever since then, I have not been able, like I lost my Wisconsin drinking card. Like I can't do the same anymore, which sucks because like I said, when I go out, I'm like, oh, I could drink. And it's like, no, you can't, bitch.
That well, in my adult life, I've never been a booze puker,
Yeah.
but I remember a bar. There was a one nighter, TJ's in Mankato, Minnesota,
Okay.
and they just prided themselves on getting the comics fucked up. They just
Yeah.
went up, they just send a barrage of shots, and they didn't care if you. They just
Oh,
wanted
it's
to.
a competition in the Midwest. Drinking is. It really is.
Yeah, and I was just opening. I remember the comedian that was headlining was a lady named Cindy Eaton.
Okay.
So I'm opening, like I'm not even getting any fucking jokes done. They're like, just do the shot, you fucking pussy. And I'm just doing every shot they sent to me. And I literally walked off of stage. I got there early because I lived out of my car then. So I'd been there since like 3 p.m. So my car is right out front. And I walked directly off the stage after introducing her, and went, went and got into my car and laid down where the doors open. It's summer. I can still hear her, and I hear, oh, I don't actually drink. Thanks anyway. No, really. A guy had come up on the stage with a shot for her, and she's like, and I remember manning up, and I raced back inside, ran up on the stage, did the shot, and went right back out and threw up all over the fucking sidewalk. Got back in my car, slept for 3 hours, and I was still, it's probably the drunkest I ever drove.
Yeah. You never not a big drinker and driver. Did you
Well, I was staying in Minneapolis, which I think is like an hour and a half away.
yeah.
And I had to go back there, but you had to move your car at 2 a.m. or it would get towed. So I just waited till 1:59 going, all right, I'm
No,
gonna
it's time.
have to tough this out. I don't have a lot of options here.
Well, that's good that you were responsible. None of us in the Midwest were raised to be responsible.
No, I wasn't responsible. I just
Well,
didn't have the money to get towed.
yeah.
I didn't have the money for a hotel. I lived out of my car. I'm like, I gotta drive drunk.
You gotta drive drunk. Yeah, that's Wisconsin's a fun place. Well, the Midwest in general, like there's a lot of similarities. I mean, they're all kind of the same to be honest, except Chicago has more crime. That makes it more fun though. Um, it's so much more fun in Chicago than everywhere else. So how do you
Definitely
think?
better than fucking North Hollywood. By the way,
Oh
I have
God,
to know,
yeah.
is that I'm assuming that's Andy Warhol? Because I just see Andy and then
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a quote that it's like a sticker quote. Can you see it? It says, don't think about making art, just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it while they are deciding, make even more art.
all right.
You have any comments on
Yeah,
that?
art.
Art.
What people call art.
It's all art. Do you consider comedy an art form?
Uh, I don't even know what art means, but I just know that people use it as a cop out a lot. I think it's an old bit I used to do. It's like the word love is like
Mhm.
art. You can, you know, call any. I love pancakes. I love my mother. There's a lot of fucking leeway there.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
no, that's very
I
true.
think the only art that I appreciate is con art. Con artistry. I fucking love any
Yeah.
like movies about con art.
Like grifters and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, my
yeah.
dad was he was definitely considered a con artist for sure. He definitely taught me some things. He did he did a little bit of grifting. I know that. He did more because he liked adrenaline rushes. Like he was in Vietnam and stuff like that, and like he liked getting off on that. So like he would just shoplift sometimes. But yeah, there'd be certain times when like he would con like drug dealers out of like a shitload of drugs. And he's a really large man. He's like 6'10", like 250, 300 pounds. Yeah.
He-
And like, yeah, and he used to steal cars for the mob and like, in Vietnam when he was
Wait,
18, so like a train
wait,
killer.
steal cars for the mob in Vietnam?
No, 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 no. Sorry, he was selling cars for
You
the mob
just
when
did
he.
say that, so I did that
No, in Chicago,
before
and he
your
was.
Twitter blows up.
Be like, how is that possible? And he was in Vietnam, so like, yeah, so he had a rough childhood, and he's a very tough guy, and so yeah, he used to just con fucking drug dealers out of like money or drugs just for like because he was bored. kind of thing.
Hang on, Mr. Raider, would you make me one more of these delicious White Russians before I switch to fucking whiskey Coke? Well, it's you put the same amount of vodka, fill it with milk, and just the tiniest amount of Kahlua.
Okay.
I don't.
The Kahlua is I like the chocolate ones. Like I don't like coffee. So anything coffee flavored, I'm always like, ugh. But I do like was it the Black Russians? I like the Black Russians. Those are
That
all
was
right.
mother's drink. Mother was a Black Russian drinker in her drinking days.
Yeah, something about like dairy and like alcohol never really like seemed to sit well with me. Maybe it's because of all the cement mixers that we used to have to drink.
I like Bailey's whiskey coffee, and my White Russians I do fat-free milk.
Yeah.
Tiniest amount. I think I would probably drink milk and vodka if it didn't sound so disgusting. So I just put a
It does sound really
tiny
fucking
hint,
disgusting. Yeah,
yeah,
no.
just a tiny hint of Kahlua, and then it's kind of a White Russian.
Yeah, and then it's kind of a White Russian. That is a really interesting. Maybe like it's better for your stomach in some ways. I don't know. Is it like it's dairy milk? Like you don't drink like oat milk or almond milk or anything like?
No, I've never tried them, but I'm 53 years old, and over the course of years, I'm pretty good at prejudging things.
Mhm.
Like I always knew I would hate Europe, and I was right, except for the Scandinavian countries, and I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking Norway's gorgeous. But yeah, the rest of it, all that old fucking history. Yeah, I knew I was gonna hate it, and I was right.
Yeah.
I know that I don't like what you're eating. Okay, I'll try it if you just try it. Okay, I did, and I hated
Hate
it.
it.
Are you happy now?
Yeah, there is that thing where people just feel that if you do something that they really feel that they could change a person's mind, and that's no.
Yeah, sushi was but I was younger, and I was in love with this girl, so I ate it, and I fucking love sushi. The only things we
Yeah.
do on the road now,
It's
my only
sushi.
interests, we hit thrift stores, and we find good sushi.
I was always afraid to eat sushi. I mean, because I lived in Wisconsin, it's the Midwest. I'm like, there's no ocean here,
Yeah.
that like, and then when I moved to LA, I tried it. I'm like, oh, it's great. I can't do eel though. Like it freaks me out. I think it's because I just don't like the way it looks when it's alive. So I can't eat it when it's done. Eels fucking creep me out. How do you think like drinking and stuff like that? How do you think it has helped you in certain ways? And how do you think it has hindered you in certain ways?
I hate to keep quoting things I've said, but
It's okay.
usually anything I've had an opinion about at all has eventually been in my act at some point in
Mhm.
30 years of comedy. But I always say there was drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes are I give them full credit for my career.
Yeah.
The drugs expanded my mind enough to think of things, differently, and cigarettes gave me the patience to write it out in a comedy friendly format, and alcohol gives me the courage to stand up here in front of you judgmental prick and say this out loud like it's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was also gonna ask, like, do you think you could do any other job like with like the way that you drink?
Well, geez, that's the problem is yes, if it was only for an hour and a half. Like when I did Louis,
Mhm.
I'm drinking. Like I can't act. I fucking hate acting. It feels
Yeah.
so false. And but yeah, drinking, you can power through. But you're shooting 14-hour days. So
Mhm. Yeah.
then I'm drinking. The worst is when you drink and stop, because then
You get like that tired and then like you
happy.
try to
Yeah.
then you try to start back up again and you just like you lose your momentum a little bit.
So yeah, I could do a lot of jobs for an hour and a
Hour
half.
and a half. That's about it. I get that. Like I like acting, but I get what you're saying. It does. I mean, it is fake. Like you're acting it out.
The last time I acted was I've closed down a lot of shows, I did Roseanne.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like two minor lines. Uh, her, her last, uh, the last Roseanne
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah. Before she got, was it before she got kicked off or like
Yeah,
back in the
yeah.
night?
No, the last one. Yeah, right
Okay, yeah.
before
So
she got kicked off. Right. I Dennis Miller had like a talk show on something in the early 2000s.
mm-hmm.
I went on there and I fucking had a great like back and forth. And then Monday, oh, Dennis Miller got canceled. I've done like 4 shows. My last special, not my last special, but the special I did for CISO.
Mm-hmm. Oh
CISO
god,
was,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
yep. Fucking, I canceled the network. I've been the last guy on so many things. And my comedy special was the last thing that was on CISO, or as far as comedy went. And net is now no longer a network.
Yeah, which was really, yeah, I know a couple of people who had some specials that were supposed to come out on there that never came out. I'm like, well, they're like, at least we got paid, but I'm like, do you still own your like that material? Because you know how some like or Comedy Central will like buy those jokes and you're not allowed to use those jokes anymore or something like that, depending.
But that's I've meant to test this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The same reason that you can't copyright comedy,
Mm-hmm.
or Vanilla Ice gets sued for do
Oh yeah.
music, but someone can do your entire fucking act and there's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
So by the same token, every special that I've done that's owned by someone else, I could just refilm the exact same
Special. Yeah. And be like,
special. Yeah, well, I said instead of at that pause, and you go, it's fucking
it's
completely different.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's actually a good way of doing it. Just change it up to say fuck you to them. Which is yeah, because I always thought I'm like, they're not owning anything. I think that's why a lot of like comics now are like just filming their own stuff. I mean, with the way that like phones are and everything like that, like people could just film it themselves, release it themselves, you know, if they
Yeah.
get good enough marketing, it's almost better that way, it seems like, because then you don't have to worry about like people trying to like own your product and stuff like that, which always it always sucks, especially from my former job. I had a big problem with that. What
What's
else?
your former job?
Oh, you don't know. Well, that's why I thought you had the joke about writing it on your left hand, that you weren't going to look at your left hand. I'm a retired porn star. I used to do porn.
Yeah, I was very drunk last night. This
That's like, I think maybe I was the only one that got that. Or maybe, yeah, obviously I'm just gonna remove my fucking foot out of
I
my
have
mouth
not even
now.
looked I have not looked at my tweets, but I do remember taking a picture of my hand.
Yeah, with the 5 p.m. or whatever on
Yeah,
it. And
podcast 5 p.m., but it was not like a jerk off joke or anything.
no, but yeah, but that's well, that's where my mind goes automatically, because my life is just surrounded by horrible sexual puns until I die now. But yeah, no, like 8 years, I've been retired 8 years. I've been doing comedy longer than I did porn, but people are always going to know me for porn, and that's
Wow.
fine.
Is there such thing as a porn star anymore?
Not really. Not,
I
I
mean, I'm
mean,
sure everyone who has a fetish
mm,
finds, oh, yeah, I like that. I like the way that girl pees. She has a
yeah.
strong penis.
She's a
Like,
star to me.
but
Like
it's
I always had
you
a joke
can't
where it's
drop
like I'm
their
star.
name. It's not there's
Right.
no Jenna Jameson anymore. She was the last like
Yeah, Jenna Jameson, like Lisa Ann, definitely now, especially because like you have, your next door neighbors on OnlyFans kind of thing. So it really depends on, like the mainstream porn industry, like how many, like if you're working for Evil Angel or Wicked or, these big companies
yeah.
and put you out that way. But yeah, it's pretty much just adult performer. I used to have a joke where it's like, well, I starred in porn, so therefore I'm a porn star.
Yeah, all right. There you
So
go.
I
My
work.
name was on the marquee, bitch.
So yeah, I'm like, it says there starred. I'm like, and it was porn, so therefore porn star. Yeah, no, I don't care what people like, adult performer, cocksucker, literally,
I can't remember the last time I saw porn that like where you like with credits.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Because it's
just watch a clip and you fucking unload and
hmm
then you do laundry.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, they kind of well, they oversaturated the market. So they don't even really make, I mean, you can see some on Showtime and stuff like that now, but yeah, they don't really make like the movies that they used to make now because they
Fashionistas.
yeah.
I hosted the AVNs. I think it was 2006 or 7.
Yeah, I
It was
wasn't in porn then,
fucking
but I
awful.
remember.
Oh my God, it was awful. It was the worst experience ever. And
It's weird, right?
I thought porn people would be fun and have some kind of uh, uh like they could laugh at themselves. Oh no. No, they take that
Mm-mm.
shit as seriously as actors
Mhm.
do the Oscars, and
Mhm.
they were fucking just snipey, stupid, fucking cunty, boring, awful people.
Yeah, no, they definitely, yeah, because that's like a really big deal to them. Yeah, I've definitely had so many jokes because I mean, like, I was having sex on film. Like, how could you take it too seriously? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not concerned about winning best blowjob. Like, that was never like I just like doing it. Like, it was fun and I liked the money, and then the money started going away because no one's fucking paying for it. And then like people are faking syphilis tests and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with this now. That's done. So,
I always found it strange I guess it'd be a reverse hierarchy in like strippers would say, "Oh, I would never do porn."
yeah, escorts,
Porn chick
escorts.
will go, "I would never be a prostitute." Like,
hmm Yeah, no, they definitely have that. Yeah, a lot of like prostitutes or escorts. They always say they're like, oh, I can never do porn because like my name's out there. I'm like, well, yeah, that's why you're making $300 an hour and I'm making $2,000 an hour. Like that's the difference of why you
yeah,
do.
what as a as a feature act, would you go out and dance?
Yeah, yeah, but that's actually how I got into porn was through I like how you took over my podcast. No, yeah, I totally featured dance. Like I was a stripper and I needed more credits. And this company was like, oh, it was the Score Group or whatever out in Florida. And they're like, you get magazine credits. I'm like, oh, okay. And then they really wanted me for this movie. And then yeah, it was called Mamazon. And then after that, I really
Mammoth?
Mamazon. Yeah, it was about a tribe of big-breasted women who have never seen men before, and we had this stone that made our boobs bigger, and these explorers wanted our stone because they wanted everyone's boobs to be bigger.
Did you try to punch up the script as you went through it?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. There's this game that I play in my hardcore comedy show where it's like, did she really say that? So a lot of the things that because I used to get in trouble because I would like just crack jokes and shit, and they're like, Leo, we have to be serious. And I'm like, can't really. So I had to act like so I did a lot of research on porn because I didn't really watch a lot of porn. I'm like, okay, we make a lot of noises. I'm like, I could do all of that. And they're like, no, you have to act like you actually haven't ever seen a dick before. So it was a blowjob scene, and I was given like, well, I was like looking at it. I'm like, do I bite it? And so they actually kept that in the movie. There's a couple of things that I've definitely said that have resonated with some people. I'm like, maybe I should just do comedy because that seems to be my thing.
I
Oh,
just
God.
realized that how fucking old I am is I'm not gonna go look up your porn and I'm like, wow, what's wrong with me?
That is definitely a sign of maturity. Although now that we have spoken and stuff, if you do search, you will probably end up finding me, and that just happens. It happens to Big J a lot, and he gets very upset because he always feels like I'm judging him through the screen, which I am, obviously. I'm judging all of you. Which is great. Did you ever have a speaking of sex, did you ever have a like what's your favorite drug to have sex on? Do you have like a
Um,
favorite drug
yeah, no,
besides alcohol?
no, alcohol doesn't fucking help at all.
No.
I mean, smoking for 40 years doesn't it,
Help with the blood
alcohol,
flow either.
exactly. Uh, Well, I mean, obviously it's cocaine if it's first bump,
Okay, yeah, you can't
or
because you will get lip dick after a bunch of cocaine. It's
yeah,
okay.
but like you never want to fuck more than after the rush of the first fucking line. Like let's fuck now and get it over with. And ecstasy, again, it's not good fucking, but I could fuck with a limp dick for 4 hours on ecstasy.
Yeah, just a
Hey,
lot of
this
dry
isn't working,
humping.
but it's still fucking fun.
It is very fun.
Yeah,
I did I like having sex on mushrooms. Like mushrooms is one of my and ecstasy, but yeah, mushrooms I like having sex on. I think you need to do some acid and like get rid of some of the stuff in the background. It'll be fun. It's a pandemic. Get it out now while the world is shut down. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's scary. The world's opening up, and I want no part of it.
I'm like, yeah, I did my first indoor show last night because I had my first vaccine shot or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I can lick people now. I'm like, I'm disgusting. I'm like, I don't even like it when people touch me and like I'm not licking anyone, but it is fun. I'm like, I do feel a little like that false sense of security because I got fucking shot up with it. I get my second shot. But yeah, it will be people are gonna be disgusting too when everything opens up, if you think about it, because like people haven't been going out, they haven't been socializing all that much. And like the first couple nights out and people drinking, oh, especially in New York City. Yeah, it is just, oh, there's gonna be a lot of fights, I feel
Wait,
like.
are you in New York City?
Yeah. I live in
I thought you said you're in
Manhattan.
North Hollywood.
No. I used to live in North
Okay,
Hollywood.
sorry.
Yeah, no, I used to live, yeah, years ago. Yeah, I've been in New York for like 7 years now. Yeah, well, even Hollywood, I think is gonna be fucking gross too. Like every major city is gonna be just because people aren't gonna remember how to behave in public, especially when they're fucked up.
Yeah, well, at least they're not fucking yelling at dollar store fucking people for
Right.
costing them for not wearing masks.
Yeah. Oh, God, all of it. I'm over all of it. Well, thank you for coming on. It was wonderful to like actually like meet you and chat with you. It was
Yeah,
super
this is
fun.
fun. I knew this was going to be fun based
Yeah.
on the name.
Yeah, I have I like the name. I think it's very good marketing. I like it.
Not enough people do drugs anymore
I
or
think they do. They
drug
just don't
tests.
talk about it because it's still like really stigmatized. And that's like, being, technically being a sex worker and stuff. I used to have a podcast that I talked about like sex work, and it was a co-host, and she was very conservative. So it's like we would debate like different views on sex and stuff like that. And so with this one, I'm like, we need to talk about more about drugs now. Every bitch has a fucking OnlyFans now. I'm like, my job is done with that. And I'm like,
But
move on to drugs.
when you look at like Oregon that
Hmm.
decriminalized all drugs,
Hmm.
yeah, things are actually happening way too late in my life.
Yeah,
But
right. But it is interesting to see. And I do like that Oregon, is doing that. And we'll definitely wait to see. I mean, there's countries that obviously have like a lot of drugs that are legalized or at least monitored and stuff like that. And the crime rates are very low, actual addiction is really low,
yeah,
because they're just
they're
like,
also
oh,
really boring countries.
right.
You go to Amsterdam, like half the fun of more than half the fun of doing drugs is they were illegal.
Yeah, it's because you're not supposed to be doing them. That's the greatest part about it. At least for me, yeah.
I tweeted that because we just passed, recreational in Arizona
Mhm.
uh, for marijuana, and I tweeted something about ever since they've been legal, they're not nearly as much fun, and people are like, yeah, people were taking it like the product is like weak now that it's. I'm like, no, the fact. It's the
Yeah.
fact that it's legal.
Legal.
Like,
Take
I've
that.
been doing these for a year, and yeah, it just seems like it's less fun now that it's legal.
Yeah. I mean, I still smoke pot. Like I have my medical card and stuff like that. I've been like pot has always been my thing. Like I like smoking pot more than drinking and stuff like that. But yeah, it's never legal or illegal. It doesn't matter. Like I'll still get it from like my regular drug dealers or whatever. I'm not buying
You
it
know,
in a fucking
that's
store.
that's big in Bisbee where people are like, I like the product better than I got from the guy down the street.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to help out the small businesses. That's what America is about, the small businesses. Help out the small businesses.
Yeah, no, it fucking legalized marijuana, destroyed a whole black market economy of people that didn't want to have a job, so they sold weed and took the risk. And
Yeah.
now, yeah, now that guy that used to sell you weed down the street, he's going to be at fucking Walmart at the fucking weed section with a name tag and a blue smock, making fucking $7.25 an hour. This sucks.
I actually used to work at Walmart. I did loss prevention. I used to bust people for shoplifting.
Wow, there's a premise for porn.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, is there any way I can get out of this dilemma?
Out of this dilemma. I actually like I have a great idea about like comedic porn, it's called. And it's where we take like setups for porn scenes, like with a porn star and a comedian, and like we set it up like where they're speaking like porn, but they're not gonna have sex. Where it's like I had one where it's like I'm at the gym and Greer Barnes is my coach or my fitness instructor, and Jim Norton is my husband. So it's like a cuckold kind of thing. And then like Bobby, yeah, like I had this whole thing. I thought it would be hilarious. Greer Barnes helped me out with that, which is great.
Comedy,
But
fucking do it.
it'd be great. I'll think of a scenario with you. I thought like Bobby Kelly being like a plumber with his butt crack hanging out, with like Lisa Ann or something, but really like fixing the plumbing.
Never gets to porn.
Never gets to porn at all.
Like you just keep saying, "Oh, my husband's out of town."
Yeah, but yeah.
Here to help me with the plumbing, and all he does is fucking do the plumbing.
Yeah, and she's like in an outfit, like a sexy outfit.
I'm
Oh yeah.
so hot for your. Yeah, you need to.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think that would be hilarious, but I'm also slightly disturbed. So
that's the problem with a comic sense of humor versus an audience's.
Yeah.
This would be like a comics only kind of.
Yeah. There was a couple of my new jokes that I tried out last night about like my dad allegedly being like a serial killer or whatever, and only the comics laughed at it. And I'm like, all right, it still needs some work. It needs some, but they laugh, so I have a start. Like there's a start. Which is great. So where can people
fucking pleasure.
It was so good. Plug whatever you want. Book. I know you have specials and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, the book No Encore for the Donkey on Audible. Eventually we're going to get the hard copy out, but it was an Audible exclusive. So right now it's on Audible, No Encore for the Donkey, and it's a good book.
Good. All right. Well, thank you. Obviously, you can find this show, How to Do Drugs, everywhere. Thanks.